Hey folks, it's Stefan, back again with another installment of the Gamer's Companion to Music. Today we're going to be talking about the Blue Bomber and his second expedition in the classic Mega Man 2. The second installment in the franchise's now long history was arguably the best of the classic games. Personally, I find the expanded storyline of Mega Man 3 to be the most complete, but for the music, Mega Man 2 contains the most recognizable and memorable themes in the series. Let's take a look. Mega Man 2 was released in 1988 for the Nintendo Entertainment System, or NES. It received overwhelmingly positive response and sold over 1.5 million copies worldwide. It ended up being the best-selling Mega Man game in the series. The music was composed by Takashi Tataishi, with a little bit of help from Mega Man 1 composer Manai Matsumai. Now, before we dive into the music, I just want to review how the NES makes it sound, for those who might be unfamiliar with what the composers were working with. I know I was until I looked it up for this video. The NES allows for 5 tracks, but for music, generally 4 are used. 2 tracks emit pulse waves or square waves, and both have volume control and pitch bend capabilities. They sound like this. These are generally used for melody and direct harmony to that melody. The third track is a fixed volume triangle wave, used mostly for bass lines and background sounds. Here's that sound. The final track is a white noise track, essentially your percussion here. Usually, sound effects created take precedence and often use multiple music tracks currently playing, so you'll hear the music kind of cut out from time to time. In Mega Man 2, this often happens while the boss is charging up his energy bar right before the boss fight, heard here. Alright, now the real reason you're here, the actual music. There are 4 main techniques that are used throughout the game's score. We have thirds, delay, counterpoint, and percussion. Don't worry, I'm about to explain what I mean by all of these. The first is the use of thirds in the melody. What I mean by this is that you have a melodic line accompanied by a second melodic line playing the same rhythms at the same time, but it is lower or higher than the first line by the interval of a major or minor third. Here's an example from Airman's stage. First, you'll hear the melody by itself, and then the melody with the second track playing a third away. The second technique is the use of delay. Sometimes you'll hear a melody that sounds kind of echoed as such. How this is actually happening is that both melody tracks are playing the exact same pitches, but the second track is delayed slightly. So if you were to play the second track with the rhythm, it would sound really out of sync. Here's an example of the melody with the background, and then the delay track with the background, and then all of it put together. The third technique is called counterpoint, or essentially just adding counter melodies that are different from the main melodic ideas. 2 songs in particular use this extensively, and those are Bubble Man and Flash Man stages. In Flash Man's stage, we have the main melodic idea, but underneath there's a really cool rhythmic idea. Here are the melody tracks by themselves, and then you'll hear the whole thing put together. Bubble Man stage is really neat and will also bring us into our fourth technique a little bit. First off, we do start by hearing some percussive elements in the beginning of the first melody track. Then, instead of the two melody tracks being similar, we hear the second melody and triangle track playing together, heard here. I'll let this one play fully so you can hear how all of these combine. Both the triangle track and the white noise track feature percussive elements throughout the game. Here's an idea of what the white noise track sounds like in the game. Sometimes you can get some more characteristic sounds like in Quickman stage. There are times too where the triangle tracks have really vast ranges and have to help contribute to both the bass line and the percussion. Here's what the triangle track sounds like in Flashman stage, and then here it is with a percussion track as well. So that's pretty much how all of the music is put together. Some of my favorite pieces of game music are in this game. Crashman's theme is pretty much one huge jam session. Now you know how the music is put together track by track, so let's look at how it is put together on a larger scale. If we look at the structure of each of the Robot Masters stage music, we see 4 distinct pairings of 2. The simplest is Heatman and Flashman stages, who both follow an A-B structure. This just means that there is melodic material that we will call A, and then different melodic material that we will call B, to denote it as being different from the first. The second pair is Airman and Woodman. These both follow the A-B structure, but they have introductions that exist prior to the melodic ideas. That cool percussion part in Woodman stage is just an intro, and won't be heard again unless you restart the stage. The third pairing is Metal Man and Quickman. These both follow an ABC structure where they have 3 melodic ideas instead of 2 that we've seen in the 4 Robot Masters before it. Now the most complex pairing would be Bubble Man and Crash Man. Both of these songs actually have 2 introductions. This is because when the songs loop infinitely, usually most of them go back to the beginning. These 2 stages, however, go back to measure 9, skipping their first introduction section entirely. So to give a sense of prelude in the repeats, the composers wrote a second introduction to serve as the intro every other time it repeats but the first. So here's Bubble Man's first intro, which we only ever hear once. Now here's the second intro. This is where the music will end up repeating to. Now to show you that this is where the music actually does loop to, I'll play about 4 measures of the B section in Bubble Man's theme, and then you'll hear it loop back to that second introduction instead of the first. And those are your 8 Robot Masters. Hopefully that wasn't too terribly confusing. Each theme is very different in terms of melodic content and overall feel, but as you can see, the structures are all very similar. Now we move on to the most complex of ideas in the Wily Stage 1 and 2 music, my all-time favorite, by the way. The form of this music is A, B, C, B, D. Get that all? The constant driving percussive motif that pounds the energy through is that ta-ta-ta-ta-ta-ta-ta-ta rhythm that also finds its way into the melody a little bit. You'll also notice that as the song continues, even though the melodies are very similar, the pulse waves take very different shapes, giving the melodies all very unique sounds. The other really cool part is that the first melody we hear also comes back as the backing track to the C melody, heard here. Did you hear it? If not, go back and listen again. It's a really cool idea. Well, that's pretty much all of the music in the game. Aside from the title screen theme and the epilogue, we're only really left with things like the stage select screen, boss fight, weapon get, and password screen. Oh wait, those are all pretty freaking awesome too. That's the best part to me about the music. Not a single musical element was put in without care as to what its function was. The stage select music is so simple, but tell me you don't already know it by heart. How about that Robot Master intro? Yeah, we all just know it. It's ingrained into our hearts
and into our souls.
So there you have it. I hope I've been able to give you something that you didn't know before about the incredible and incredibly catchy music of Mega Man 2. I discovered so much about the inner workings of the music while researching for this video, and I really think it will be cool to discover other games as well. Also, I just wanted to point out that I was able to isolate the tracks using the Nestopia emulator for Mac, just in case you wanted to go plunk around some of the music of your favorite NES games as well. Well, as always, thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you next time on The Gamer's Companion to Music. Missed the first 3 episodes? Why don't you check them out here on our ESVLB gaming channel.